Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started. Thank you for making the early trip this morning. My name is Jim Roberts. I am on the committee here at 1 Million Cups. Proud to introduce a new friend of mine, Al from SaniBrands. If I may, Dr. Al, this is a story where a doctor creates an innovative product and maybe gets a little busy being a doctor, and it becomes harder to grow the company. But Al has kind of refreshed the brand. He's brought on a good friend of mine, Dr. Suzanne Altabello from UNC Wilmington, and they are restarting the company. And today they are here, and tomorrow they will be at the IDEA launch in Danville, Virginia. I also believe you're an NC IDEA finalist.
We are.
So as you see, they're back up and running. So please welcome Dr. Al from SaniBrands.
So usually when I meet with a group and present, and as Jim said, it's fairly new presenting. We went on a little bit of a hiatus, and I'll explain why in the presentation. But for audience participation, and my wife does not like this exercise, but just to get the feel and the mood of what we have in our product line and everything else, the person sitting to your right, just grab their left hand and take their fingers and stick them in your mouth for so every time, I swear, my wife says nobody's going to do it. So if people are at home, you can try it at home. So real quickly, my wife and I are not huge college football fans, but we recently relocated and we lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is right at the foot of the Poconos. And there's nothing we enjoy more than on a cold Saturday to do our chores around the house, light a fire in the fireplace in the den, and then at around 3 o'clock turn on a college football game just to see what's happening. And so it just so happened, I think it was 11 years ago, we turned on, and it's USC and Notre Dame playing. I'm not really into it that much because my alma mater didn't have football. So, I can't cheer for my alma mater, but we watched the game. It had rained earlier, and it was at the Coliseum in California, and the players were dirty. They weren't super filthy, but they were dirty, and their hands and gloves had dirt on them. And I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this before, but during the game, the players, I noticed they're taking their mouth guards out of their mouths, and they're holding them in their hands, and they're sticking them in their helmets, they're sticking them in their socks, and then they're picking them up and putting them back in their hands. It's just the same as putting their fingers in their hands. So I thought, we're such a germophobic society, I would venture to guess most of you, at least a few times a week, probably more, go to the hand sanitizer, just to make sure that the harmful bacteria and germs aren't on your hands. And I thought, so what are they doing for these athletes? Did some research, found out a few things. There are the American Dental Association, the National Athletic Trainers Association, the Academy of Sports Dentistry, and most important than that, a forensic dental team out of Oklahoma State University led by a gentleman named Dr. Tom Glass, who is famous for what he does, did a study on athletic mouthguards. And more, just as important, they swabbed the hands of athletes for football and basketball, a number of them. And they found that what they found on the players' hands are animal feces. And I'll be glad to email me. I have business cards, and I'll be glad to send these studies over. There are multiple studies. They also found sputum, which unfortunately is spit, blood, other players' DNA, harmful chemicals, and the resulting issues were meningitis, pneumonia, endocarditis, GI, respiratory, oral, and viral infections. So now that you're all drinking your coffee, hopefully you finished your breakfast prior to this. And again, this was for both indoor and outdoor sports. So I did this research, found out, okay, there's an issue here. What can I do? So I went and contracted to a pharmaceutical company, actually out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I worked with the president of the company. He has 2 PhDs, and he's quite a unique gentleman. He's from Nigeria, and he holds the patent on the Nicorette gum, smoking cessation. He put nicotine in a gum So he took that even further for that delivery system, and he also has Viagra in a gum. He also has a statin in a gum form. He's waiting for a number of patents to expire so that he can launch these, but he's a brilliant man. So I said, his name is Ned, and I said, Ned, what can we do to build a formula that cleans these mouth guards for these athletes? It has to be safe, has to be efficacious, has to be alcohol-free. And so we, after about 13 different iterations, we came up with a product. I named it, not the best name in the world, but Defense Sport Mouthguard Rinse. So it's the first product specifically created to help athletes keep their mouth guards clean and sanitary. It is alcohol-free. It's sugar-free. Takes just 3 seconds. 3 seconds. So there's one competitor that we have called Fresh Guard. It's a powder, goes into a glass. You put your mouth guard in it overnight. Takes 20 minutes. Even then, the studies show after it's completely sanitary, which it isn't because it doesn't have an antibacterial agent in it, as soon as your hand touches it, all the studies show that the contamination starts again, automatically starts again. So this had to be used on the field. It's safe for all mouth guards, and it should be safe for humans, which it is. And we'll talk about the active ingredient. Has a mint flavoring to it. I apologize for standing. I apologize. And can be used with children as small as 45 pounds. So we also had extensive lab tests. We tested it against 5 major pathogens, including streptococcus, and all 5 of them, this product eliminates 99.9% of germs and bacteria from mouth guards. So we basically went to a lab in Chicago. We introduced this bacteria onto mouth guards, tested it against water. Water was not as bad. Water did about 35% elimination of the bacteria, except when the bacteria sat for a while. So if you have a mouth guard and you put it away dirty, water's not going to help clean it after that. So here's just something real quick. So now we have the product. It's not going to take us to it. We've had a number of
Eagles and some other NFL teams are using could also help keep your kids healthy.
Okay, we'll see if we can get that on the
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's the story.
This is technology at its
Technology at its best, right? Yeah.
best. So, quick story, I worked for years at IBM. There's nothing more embarrassing than to go in front of a client and not be able to work the technology from IBM when you're in front of Pfizer or whomever.
Tonight we have a story for parents of student athletes. A product that the Eagles and some other NFL teams are using could also help keep your kids healthy this season. Health reporter and registered nurse Ellie Gorman has the story.
Young athletes are back on the field getting ready for the fall season. And along with hair ties, helmets, and jerseys, for many, another vital part of the uniform is the mouth guard. It can help prevent tooth and jaw damage. But mouth guards can also pose a risk. They can harbor bacteria, fungus, or mold, especially if they're kept somewhere warm and moist, like a gym bag. And just holding one in a sock or sports bra can also lead to contamination. It can cause stomach illness. And there are documented cases of worsening asthma and meningitis associated with dirty mouth guards. Dr. Daniel Taub, an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, says serious infections are rare, but possible.
If there's a cut in the gum, especially in areas where there's a lot of blood supply, bacteria can then enter the mouth and then therefore the bloodstream.
So to keep players healthy, many NFL teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles, have started using a product called Defense Sport Mouthguard Rinse.
Take the bottle, squirt both sides of the mouth guard, shake off the excess.
Albert Dolceamore, whose company makes the product, says studies show it helps eliminate germs. Plus, it's alcohol and sugar-free. It has the same ingredient used by many healthcare professionals.
Chlorhexidine is a broad-spectrum antiseptic that has been used in the fields of dentistry, surgery, and even veterinary medicine for decades.
Dentist Dr. George Lynch of Cobblestone Kids Pediatric Dentistry looked over the studies on Defense Sport and says it's not just good for professionals, but also student athletes. He and Dr. Taub recommend mouth guards are kept in a clean container and are disinfected before, during, and after practice. Dr. George says Defense Sport makes that easier for kids.
Something that they can tuck away in their will squirt.
Of course, there are other products you can use to clean a mouth guard at home, but on the field it is a bit tougher. That's why Dolceamore said he wanted to make this product, and it is endorsed by the National Athletic Trainers Association. It costs $9.95 for a bottle. We have more information on 6abc.com. Allie Borman, Channel 6, Action News.
So that's 2 years old, and it's amazing what time can do. It costs more than $9.95. Nothing goes down, unfortunately. So these are just some of the endorsements.
Hello, my name is Al Dolceamore. I'm speaking to you from Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've been in the pharmaceutical clinical research
Autoplay on
industry for
That's
most of
my
adult life.
Shark Tank audition. So these are just some of the endorsements. This is one we're really proud of. The NFL Athletic Trainers Association, PFATs, they only endorse 3 products. They only go by science. They don't care who you are. You better have some medical science, and they've endorsed our product. NATA, we're a member of the Academy of Sports Dentistry. You know, we're trying to do it right. So, and this is just, I have tons of these photographs, screenshots taken from pro football games. That's our product right there. I think actually Pittsburgh won that game, but we're also for the Pittsburgh fans. Anyway, all right. I've got one client, and so but I have tons of these shots too. So this is just a quick acts. Oh, I'm sorry. These are just some of the statistics. Right now, 18.3 million people use athletic mouth guards in the U.S. That's about 32 globally. And that number is growing because of mandatory use. Massachusetts is going to make it mandatory for basketball, and there'll be other states coming forward with that. And of course, with concussion, we're actually involved with an NIH concussion study right now, our product. And when the NIH gets those results, there's going to be more needing for mouth guards. 50 states make it mandatory in contact sports, and it's projected to grow 8% a year over the next 5 years. Even flag football, NFL Flag Football League, 2 mandatory things: cleats and mouth guards. It's highly effective. It's sugar-free. First mover on the market to go to market. Strong signs of market uptake, and it's easily receptive and accessible through multiple channels. Then we slowed down. We had something traumatic happen to us. So when I invented the product, we launched it to athletic trainers, and I applied for a patent. This is just basically an axis to show how we compare against other things that people use to clean mouth guards. So obviously we're looking at safety. You want some high safety, but you want high efficacy. So this is where we rank against everything. Some people will use mouthwash. If you're having children at home or use a mouth guard, do not use mouthwash. Do not use mouthwash because it contains typically between 10 and 17% alcohol. The alcohol breaks down the polymers, and little Billy or little Sally will go running down the field one day and bite down on it and split it right in half. So that was something important that we had to do. No alcohol. So, but again, that's y-axis to show how it stacks up. This is our timeline where we started and where we are now. But this is what happened. We didn't expect this. I truly didn't expect this. My patent attorney didn't expect this. We did receive a patent. So we are the only product in the world patented to clean and sanitize athletic mouth guards. What I did do when I applied for the patent was I asked for expanded uses of it, not just mouth guards. So the patent covers not just mouth guards. The patent also covers the sanitation and instant cleaning of dentures, removable braces. So if anybody's ever has an Invisalign in this room, they know what I'm talking about. Retainers, toothbrushes, night guards, bite guards, baby pacifiers, and even baby bottle nipples. These are all in our patent, and these are all approved. We're the only product on the market. Go to your CVS tomorrow or tonight, walk up and down the oral care aisle and try and find something that cleans instantly, that's alcohol-free in any of these areas. But we'll talk about this one in a minute. I worked very closely with the ADA when I was putting this together. With the toothbrush inclusion, the ADA estimates that 300 million people could use this product in one form or another daily, 300 million. So, again, that's the size of the market for braces and removable dentures. We don't have to talk about the size of the toothbrush market, and I have tons of studies that I can send over to people to show how they're needed. Final takeaways. We're a women-owned business. I am not a woman. We are a woman-owned business. We're preparing to relaunch just the mouthguard version as soon as possible. We're working on that now. And this is what we need. We need an individual that besides investing, we could use additional dollars, there's no doubt, and I'll talk to anyone about that if need be, if they'd like to. We're looking for an individual who has experience launching and growing consumer healthcare products. And we're happy to discuss equity in the organization. An experienced Kickstarter manager. We'd like to start, we're actually in the throes of planning our Kickstarter. And then finally, someone with experience or help with identifying a manufacturer. Our goal is to keep everything in North Carolina. Our product that we had before, everything was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, everything. Right now we're located in Wilmington. If we can keep things in the Wilmington area, great, but to keep it in North Carolina, we really believe that. And we plan to be at about 25 employees in the next 2 years. And that's basically it. But again, the thing that's daunting to us is the patent, the 300 million individuals. We honestly, that's why we're relaunching for mouthguards. We need help getting to the expanded uses for those 300 million people. But we can work with those 18 million for sure.
All right, let's open it up to questions.
Yes.
Is there a different formula for like the toothbrush cleaner versus the mouthguard?
That's a good question. So our formula, our active ingredient is CHG, chlorhexidine gluconate. We applied for the patent for 0.125% solution. What that means is, but the patent we also expanded that. So the patent goes from 0.02 CHG to 2% CHG. So to answer your question right now, the formula is the same 0.125%, but we may modify that as something still stay within the parameters of the patent. The CHG is actually the key to this whole thing. That's our technology.
So this material you have, it's got formula and things like that. You spray it on these things, or it just rinses off and wash it off.
Just rinse it off.
Rinse it off, and then you immediately can.
No, you don't have to rinse it off.
You
just apply it to the mouth guard and or whatever braces and such. Shake it off, put it in your mouth. It has a mint flavoring to it. I know it's so simple, but it works. We have so many tests to show how it eliminates these major pathogens.
And your issue you have is you want to produce a certain volume to meet this demand that you have, and you're trying to focus your market to a certain area to focus that, and then
grow from there. Build some brand awareness and grow from there. Yes.
Not to be the grumpy environmentalist,
Okay.
but think about triclosan and what happened with it. It's been taken out of products because it concentrates in the environment.
Sure.
And causes a lot of problems there. What about the active ingredient?
Well, let me tell you about
part?
CHG. Here's the participation of the audience. Anybody ever had oral surgery ever in their lives? So not 9 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, you went home with a solution to gargle with which had CHG in it. Second, number 2, anybody ever used a product? There are many products out there. I'll use one called HibaCleanse. So if there are any medical people in here, HibaCleanse is the most popular antibacterial body wash that there is. 0.125% concentration of CHG is the active ingredient in HibaCleanse. So to answer your question, I don't know what studies that have ever been done, but CHG has been around for quite some time, and it's used in, right now, probably 20 other products. None of them, we're the first and only to have it on an object. Everything else has been on the body or in the body. So again, if you can rinse with it and gargle and spit it out and everything, and there hasn't been an issue so far. I mean, I wish I had a better environmental answer. Yes?
Sandra in the back.
You mentioned that you're moving to direct-to-consumer on the other formulations. How
Yes.
are you selling the defense product now?
So that's a good question. So we've taken a hiatus. We've retracted back, as Jim said before. We used to sell directly to schools, athletic trainers, and we went through a number of sports medicine distributors. There's a company called Medco. There are a ton of them out there. That's how we went originally. We never went direct to consumer. We're going to start the direct to consumer very soon, just for the mouthguard cleaner. What you've seen, I have bottles of it here and everything. We're changing the packaging. It's now going to come in a spray. Before, your question was, it came in a bottle where we had custom turret sprays, squirts. So you would squeeze it, come out under pressure. Now we've found that we've discovered a better pump spray, because a pump spray didn't work with what was out in the market before, like 6 years ago. There's some new sprays that are more concentrated, so we're coming out with a pump spray. But to answer your question, we're going to start a direct-to-consumer campaign. As Jim mentioned, we have a new person. She's our president. She's Dr. Suzanne Altobello, and she is a specialist in marketing, digital marketing. So, but we can use help with that too, quite frankly. Yes?
Part two was if you had samples, my son's lacrosse team could really use this.
Can you have a card or anything?
Testimonials. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I feel like Sarah Huckabee Sanders up here. Yes. ABC. Yes. Oh, you're next. Yes.
So it seems logical to me that you got the patent, but you're probably going to wind up spending some defense on that patent against a larger competitor in the not too distant future once you show a little bit of success. Are you putting this into your business plan?
Not right now. Our plan is, and you know they said about, there's a big joke about God, make them laugh, tell them what your plans are. But our plan is to build brand awareness. And we actually just spoke with people from Clark and Dwight. Have you heard of them? They're the parent, I believe they're the parent company of Arm & Hammer. Or Arm & Hammer's their parent company or whatever. So we just talked to them. We signed an NDA and all that great stuff. They were on the fence, and they said, let's see what you do. Our goal is, and I hear what you're saying, we can't go up against a P&G, and they have deep pockets. Our goal is to build a brand and have somebody say, yeah, we can spend $500,000. And just everyone know, my wife and I document, and I can show that to everyone, we have $560,000 out of our pocket on this so far. So, but regardless, they can go out, for them, it probably cost them maybe $400,000 to go, and then go against us. But we're hoping and planning to build brand awareness so that somebody is interested in this. And one of the things we're going to try and do with the mouthguard, so that we can take our minds off of the mouthguard, is we actually have some mouthguard manufacturers somewhat interested. So there could be a partnership, and even they have said, all three of them, Shock Doctor and Under Armour have said to it, and there was another organization too, our lab said, let's see what you do, go out and sell some more to consumers, and then we'll see, maybe and that would be great if we just handed them off and they would either license it, or we've actually sat down with an attorney, we can slice and dice the IP, so we can sell off the mouthguard IP to someone, let them manufacture it, and then focus on the dentures and everything else. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on, there's a gentleman right there in front who's been waiting,
Yes.
waiting.
Oh, no. I guess I just didn't quite I understood that you went to the athletic organizations, then you took the hiatus, now you're going. I don't understand why you had to take, did it not work out with the other organizations?
It worked out. We had a manufacturer in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We came down to about close to the end of our inventory. My wife and I had sold all of our properties. We had 4 homes at the time. We sold everything. We're planning to move down here. And I'll be honest, I'm in clinical research. I mean, that's my full-time job, really. That's what pays a lot of the bills. And it's like, do I want to keep doing this anymore? Do I want to just keep doing this? As Jim said, we came down to Wilmington. We had only so much inventory left. We paid a lot of money to have it shipped because it's the same viscosity and weight and volume as water. So a case of 16 ounces is like 28 pounds, and we brought 2 pallets down. I mean, even more, it's like 32 ounces and everything. So my wife and I said, let's just sell this off. When we're done, we're done. Let's just go on with our lives. And we met some people at UNCW at the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship who actually liked this product, and they said, you can't give it up. You have to keep moving forward. So to answer your question, we took a hiatus. Our move down here, quite frankly, initially wasn't to keep going with this, It's to sell off the rest of the inventory we had. And I know some people sit back and say, holy crap, you had a patent and you're just ready to let it go. It's a lot of work, and I don't mind keep doing the work. I shouldn't say that to everyone here. I'll keep doing the work because we're putting together a team of competent, experienced people, which makes it a little easier because we're one-man shop before. Yes.
Do you have any volume metrics? Like how when the Eagles used it, how many $9.99 bottles did they use per game?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
So when teams, we also sell it in 2.5 gallon bladder boxes. It's like a box of wine. It's food grade component, and it comes with a spout. And we sell two of those 5 gallons at a time, and not usually, we give 6 empty bottles for them to fill and refill with our labels on it and everything. So we sold it 2 years in a row to every NFL team in the NFL, and each took 4, so 10 gallons. Don't forget, half the games they don't play at home, and during practice, many of them don't wear mouth guards during practice. You'd be surprised, especially if it's non-contact day. So each NFL team used 10 gallons per season.
Per season.
Per season.
Is that profitable?
Oh, very profitable. Our 2.5 gallon bladder boxes are 900% margin. But
is that all?
But we missed.
Is that it?
But you missed that one slide there with the Steelers with the bottle on the side. That's where the value came in. That's where the value came in. So the cameras and stuff. That game, my wife and I weren't even watching football. We're sitting at home and our phone lit up, hitting the call and turn on ABC. And so anyway, we truly didn't get into the NFL to try and make money, just for exposure. Number one, and number two, to meet all of the athletic trainers and become friendly with them because they're great referrers. Yes.
So what is your cost of goods and the margins?
So right now, a 16-ounce bottle costs us $1.78 to make. That's a small volume. That's 10,000 bottles at a time, and we sell that right now for $11.99.
So one of your slides mentioned that you anticipate in the next 2 years having a team of 25.
Yes.
Does that include the manufacturing side?
No.
Okay, so that's just your.
However,
okay.
I've been looking into and searching around for what's required for us to manufacture it ourselves. Okay. We're probably a year away from that. The machinery is, you can buy it used, quite frankly, fairly affordable prices. It's just a matter of finding that right individual because there's a term called GLP, good lab practices, and so we have to find someone that truly is certified, degreed, that can mix the formula. Putting it in the bottle, slapping the label on, the machinery does all of that. It's the lab portion of it, not the bottling portion. It's challenging. So we're a year away from that, quite frankly.
So back to the people side of that question, what kind of thought have you given to the type of culture that you want in the organization that you're building?
It's a great question. I've worked for the world's largest CRO. I've worked for IBM. I've worked for Thomson Reuters, and I don't want to be in any of this culture. I wish I could give you a better answer. I'm very sorry. I don't mean to be crass. I don't mean to be crass, but you know.
I asked the question to plant the seed.
The first thing with me is, honestly, truthfully, this will turn 3/4 of you off. If we're not having fun and enjoying a day's work, and if that's what you mean by culture, then that's how it's going to be. Now, at one point in time, we had 6 employees, which is far from 25.
Yeah.
But that's not counting the manufacturing. We had 6 employees, and I'll tell you what, the things that we did, the travels, going to the shows and going to games and everything, we worked very hard, but we played hard too.
It's much easier to build that culture at 2, 3, 6, 25 than it is at
Well, there's no doubt about it. And in Wilmington, as with here, probably more here, but in Wilmington, we have great access with UNCW. There's some amazing, wonderful students there who you have to have that atmosphere, that culture, quite frankly. It can't be a button-down thing. So we have great access to sweat labor. It's just some great people, but they'll produce. It's just a matter, again, it's a good point. Culture's important.
Do we have time for one more question?
Yes.
Maybe maybe I misunderstood this, but early on, I think you said that this would go down, be usable to kids up to like 45 pounds and up.
45 pounds, yes.
And yet you have baby products, so I didn't quite get the.
So, the MSRS of this product is for the active ingredient is 22 kilograms. That's for other uses. We really have to do some research and look into how it can be used for smaller children. But again, all the other research was for being put directly into the body for oral consumption. This is being put onto an object. Now, and in all fairness too, for the pacifiers and the baby bottle nipples, we really, and one more thing that wasn't in there was tableware. So who was out to a restaurant, I can tell you some really bad stories about what that knife and fork have gone through before they made it to your plate. And you can, but what it is we have to find an organization that can turn this into a wipe. So I found 4 organizations already. It's very simple. Can take that formula into wipe, and that would be for the baby bottle nipples, the pacifier, and tableware. So you can clean your tableware with something that's and a baby bottle nipple that's alcohol-free, flavor-free, because we wouldn't produce that mint flavor, and eliminate all the bacteria and germs on any object. I really thank everyone. I do. I mean, this is a great opportunity, and I left my house. I was telling Jim I left my house at 4:45 this morning, and I said, "What? This is great!" But this is a great event. So thank you so much. Thank you.